Hello, welcome back to Blender LIVENODING. In this episode, we're gonna try to create some kind of super shape, and this was actually based on this writing by Nathan, and this is from his website, The Proving Ground, and there's this 3D super shape formula, and this is written using Python and using Blender BPY or BPY, Blender Python, and then this will actually, if you run this, it will create these unique shapes. But we're gonna try to make it so that it works as a node. And I will be using animation nodes for this, but you can also use Sverchok. So this is actually not that hard. I was surprised. It's actually quite easy to create. So basically, simply because what we are using is simply just the formula, and it's written in a way that we have vertices, faces, and edges. So everything is very cleanly written. There is this parameter input that you can just pipe it in, and the output is just going to be mesh data, like vertices, edges, and polygon. So yeah, this is the setup. This is the original Python, and this is the script node that I'm using for animation nodes. So I can actually create this from scratch. So yeah, clean Blender. I have animation nodes already set up. I'm using animation nodes 2 or 2.1. So this is AN SUPERSHAPE. So let's create a text editor and let's call this SUPERSHAPE.py. So this is the original code. If we copy paste, if we actually run this, it creates the shapes. It's actually do the smoothing for you as well. So this is nice. So if you look at in the outliner, we have super shapes and it has modifier applied. So that's cool. Let's turn on the syntax highlighting. I'm gonna save it again. I'll create another text editor. Oops. Text editor new. I usually call it script or SN for animation nodes. SUPERSHAPE.py, and here we will be using script node, and it's based on SN. Call this SUPERSHAPE X, and we can start always by looking at this. Okay, so it's gonna generate vertices, faces, and edges. So that's gonna be the output. First vector list, it's gonna be the verts, and edges indices list, it's gonna be edges. Face is gonna be polygon. I think polygon indices list, that's the face. The input is gonna be all these numbers you see over here. M, A, B, whatever. Everything seems to be, we can use float. So float, let's create a bunch of float. By default, the script node will generate this random value. We simply name the variable M, A, B, N1, N2, N3. I believe we can set the default value just in case it's crashing, but we can override it at some other at later stage. So another float for the scale, and integer, 2 integer number, unum and vnum. I make sure the variable name remain the same. So we just copy everything here, paste it here, but we don't need to use everything because we're gonna stop somewhere when it's create mesh data and whatever, because animation nodes will take care of that for us. So oops, Let's see how it works now. If I don't want this to always calculate, just calculate once. So I will be creating the super shapes now, and the output is going to be object out, mesh object output. If we plug this into the mesh data, it's going to create this for us, combined mesh data. So let's create our objects. So you can see our super shapes already happening. That's pretty cool, right? We can then override this. Yeah, currently it's doesn't change anything because we need to kind of comment this out. Text. There's a way to comment this out. There you go. Reload. Now we have nothing. I believe we need to make changes here. Let's see. It should already be working. Maybe it's there's like division by 0 or something, or we need to plug this. Oh, okay. It's doing some really heavy calculations. Maybe restart it. I believe I already saved this, so open and SUPERSHAPE. So if we delete this, create another SUPERSHAPEs, by default we have an error already. Float division by 0, it doesn't like 0 value, so just maybe put a bunch of value. Okay, vertices, plug in there. We should already see something. Wonder if I'm doing something wrong. Vertices, faces, edges. Maybe like this. Still nothing. Okay. There's a verts reference before assignment. Okay. Verts, edges, faces. Okay, I shouldn't comment this out. Now it should be working, but I might made a mistake. So verts type, edges, faces already corrected. So maybe this value is too big. Oh, there you go. This should be small number. That's too big. You can see on the example here, M. So M control that's okay. That's pretty clear. That's the A and B actually really important for these super shapes. So there is N value and number 2. This is all the parameters that you can control now. That this super shape is now a nodes, and with the nodes you can easily change the parameter and can see the result. So the U and V num can be just 50. Just look at this default value. I believe we can set up default value for this guy. I forgot how to do it, but there you go. That's your super shape. Thanks to this formula by Nathan Miller. That's the creator, I think. He made a lot of interesting procedural artworks as well. He used Grasshopper, and he definitely probably at some point have to look into Sverchok and animation nodes. I'm using animation nodes because animation nodes script node is simpler, but with Sverchok you can do the similar thing as well, and you don't even need to create the variable. there is interface with animation nodes and script node, but with Sverchok you kind of like simply type it out like a, so let's say with Sverchok example, script node live has a lot of example, really good example, all the template. Pedal sign, for example, pedal sign will give you this script. You can see here all the parameter for the input and the output. You need to you just specify the name of variable, the type, and the default value, etc. And the output's gonna be vertices and edges. So normally, if you find any formula or BPY Python Blender Python script that's output mesh data, you can actually simply pipe it into animation nodes or Sverchok to generate mesh, yeah, any kind of mesh. So it's really powerful. So hopefully you find this useful. Let me know what you think. So, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.